The FBI says they're investigating allegations of criminal acts for an incident that happened back.
So the feds just raided Jake Paul's house, and what they found has taken the fight world by storm. You heard that right. The problem child has made a name for himself in boxing, but this latest twist in his controversial career has left everyone speechless. What could possibly be hiding in Jake's mansion that's sending shockwaves through the boxing world? Well, a ton of weapons. Now, having firearms isn't exactly shocking, especially in the world of celebrities. But here's the kicker: the amount of weapons they found in Jake's mansion. That's what's got everyone talking. We're not talking about a couple of handguns for self-defense. The feds reportedly found a whole arsenal of assault rifles and enough ammo to stir up some real trouble.
Did you call Jed right now? Yeah.
What makes it worse? The authorities think this insane stockpile could be tied to something much bigger, a crime that Jake Paul might be caught up in. His dirty dealings are out in the open now, and this isn't just some minor hiccup. We're talking about a full-blown scandal that's not only threatening his upcoming fight with Mike Tyson on November 15, 2024, but could also destroy his entire career. Forget about stepping into the ring. Jake might be stepping into a courtroom instead. If these accusations stick, it's game over for him, and his boxing legacy might go down the drain faster than anyone expected. Let's break it down. All right, so let's start from the top. Over the weekend, federal agents swarmed Jake Paul's mansion in Calabasas, California, and it wasn't just your average knock on the door. This was a full-on, guns-drawn tactical raid. Apparently, the authorities had been keeping an eye on Paul for a while, and when they finally made their move, they found some things that no one expected.
After an FBI raid at his home in Calabasas. Sky 5 was over the scene Wednesday morning as federal agents entered Paul's home in a gated community off Mulholland Highway.
Early in the morning, the feds rolled up with a whole squad, helicopters overhead, and agents decked out in tactical gear. Not exactly the kind of wake-up call anyone expects, right? And then things got even crazier. Once inside, agents didn't just find some basic weapons for self-defense, as you might expect from a celeb living in a mansion that's worth millions. No, they found a stockpile of guns. We're talking assault rifles, semi-automatic weapons, the whole 9 yards. It was a collection that raised a whole lot of eyebrows, not just for what it was, but for what it could mean. A stash of weapons that big isn't normal, even for someone like Jake, who's known for his wild antics.
They said they have a warrant for Jake.
Well, the feds didn't just stumble upon these weapons by chance. They were specifically looking for connections to something much larger, potentially international crime. Yeah, we're not talking about some petty crime here. There's speculation that these weapons could be linked to underground activities that stretch far beyond the borders of the U.S. Some sources are even suggesting Jake Paul could be connected to criminal networks that operate internationally. That's huge news, especially when you think about how far Jake's influence reaches, not just in boxing, but on YouTube, social media, and pop culture as a whole.
For trespassing.
Hey, come on, please.
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah.
And this isn't Jake's first run-in with the law either. If you've been following Jake Paul's journey, you'll know he's no stranger to legal troubles. Let's rewind for a second. Remember back in 2020 when Jake was caught up in a riot at an Arizona mall? Yeah, that incident didn't just blow over. He was hit with criminal charges for trespassing and unlawful assembly, and it wasn't just a slap on the wrist. The footage of Jake roaming around the mall during the looting incident made headlines worldwide, and it damaged his reputation big time. But of course, Jake being Jake, he managed to bounce back, at least in the public eye. He settled those charges, brushed it off, and continued with his influencer lifestyle. But clearly, he didn't learn his lesson because here we are again with another legal nightmare. And this time, the stakes are much, much higher. Get this. Jake was gearing up for what would have been the biggest fight of his entire career, a match against the one and only Mike Tyson at the iconic AT&T Arena in November 2024. This fight had all the hype. I mean, it's Iron Mike, one of the most feared fighters in boxing history, going up against Jake Paul, the YouTuber-turned-boxing sensation who's been shaking up the fight world. This wasn't just a regular fight. It was supposed to be the fight that would either cement Jake's legacy in the sport or expose him as a wannabe who bit off more than he could chew. The world was watching, and fans were buzzing, counting down the days until this showdown went down. But now, this raid might have thrown a massive wrench into everything, and there's a real chance that Jake won't even be able to put the gloves on and step into the ring against the legend. For Jake, this fight was supposed to be his golden ticket to proving to everyone that he's more than just a YouTube sensation with a big mouth. Over the past few years, Jake's been grinding in the boxing world, slowly but surely carving out a name for himself. From his early days of fighting other influencers to stepping into the ring with real fighters, Jake's rise in boxing has been nothing short of wild. Remember when he took on former NBA star Nate Robinson? Yeah, that was the fight where Jake knocked him out cold, and the internet went crazy. Memes, reactions, and Jake's cocky celebration were everywhere. That fight was the moment people started to take him seriously, or at least question whether this guy actually had the skills to back up his trash talk. Then there was Ben Askren. Now, Askren might not have been the most dangerous striker, but he's an MMA veteran, and that fight was supposed to test Jake's limits. But guess what? Jake made quick work of him, knocking Askren out in the first round. And suddenly people weren't just questioning whether Jake had potential, they were actually believing it. He was becoming a legit player in the game. But the fight that really shook things up was against Anderson Silva. We're talking about one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time. Silva is a legend in combat sports, and for Jake to even step into the ring with him was a massive deal. It wasn't an easy fight, but Jake ended up winning by decision. And at that point, people were like, wait, is Jake Paul actually for real? The dude was taking on seasoned fighters and holding his own. Whether you loved him or hated him, you couldn't deny that Jake was making waves in the sport of boxing. Then came Tommy Fury. Now, this fight was a little different because Tommy is an actual boxer, not a retired MMA fighter or an athlete from another sport. And let's be honest, Jake didn't come out on top. Fury beat him in a split decision, and while that loss stung for Jake, he didn't let it crush his confidence. Instead, he used it as motivation to get better, train harder, and come back stronger. After that fight, Jake kept talking about how he wanted to become a world champion one day, and honestly, people were starting to believe that he might have a shot. But here's the thing, Jake's rise in boxing has been fueled by his ability to stir the pot, bring attention, and shock the world. And this upcoming fight with Mike Tyson was supposed to be his ultimate moment of validation. If he could step into the ring with Tyson and at least hold his own, it would have solidified his status as a legitimate boxer. This wasn't just about the money or the fame, it was about Jake proving to the boxing world that he's more than just a loudmouth YouTuber. He wanted to show everyone that he belongs in the sport and that he was a force to be reckoned with. But now, with this federal raid and all the chaos surrounding it, Jake's future in the ring is in serious jeopardy. The fight world was pumped for this matchup, but this legal drama could derail everything. The authorities are still digging into Jake's potential connections to criminal activity, and if this investigation goes south, there's a real chance he might not be able to fight Tyson at all. Can you imagine? All that buildup, all that training, and then boom, it's all ripped away because of some shady business going on behind the scenes. Yeah, Jake Paul's dream of becoming a world champion might be fading faster than anyone expected. His rise was fast, and he was starting to make believers out of doubters. But just as quickly as he climbed the ranks, his career could be crashing down before he even has the chance to cement himself as a legitimate boxer. Jake has never been one to shy away from controversy. In fact, you could say he thrives off it. From crazy YouTube pranks to wild stunts, Jake has always known how to keep his name in the headlines and stay in the spotlight. Whether it's calling out celebrities, beefing with fighters, or throwing wild parties, Jake's mastered the art of keeping people talking. But here's the thing, this isn't just another viral prank or some harmless drama. This time, Jake could be facing something way more serious. We're talking about real-life consequences here, like actual jail time. The kind that isn't just a temporary setback, but the kind that could put Jake away for years. If the feds find solid evidence that connects Jake to illegal activities, he could be looking at a lifetime behind bars. And let's be real, if that happens, it's game over. We're talking about bye-bye boxing, bye-bye YouTube, and bye-bye influencer careers. All the fame, the fortune, and the hype that Jake's built could disappear in the blink of an eye. So, there you go, Fight World, that's all I have for you today. What do you think about Jake's arrest? Fill in the comment section with your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more boxing news. See you in the next video.